Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody had a good and productive hump day. We got some Seahawks stuff to go through today, and specifically, we're going to be talking about Pete Carroll. Now, I have a lot to say about Pete Carroll that I'm not going to say in this video. I'm actually planning on making a video tomorrow morning where I talk a little bit more about how I feel about his performance so far this season and how it correlates or doesn't correlate to what we've seen over the last several years. If you guys want to hear me actually kind of sort of describe what I think is right with this team or wrong with this team, then wait for that video tomorrow morning. This video is just going to go over what Carroll had to say today in his presser. So, first up, we're going to take a look at some injury news real quick. This is definitely a pretty pivotal injury report this week because this is an important game against the Vikings, and they may be 0-2, but they are not a bad team. I don't know if they're a good team, but they are not a bad team, so this injury report matters. So, real quick to run over what Carroll had to say. Rashad Penny will likely miss another week unless he makes an unexpected turn, so you can basically cross Rashad Penny off already. He's not going to play against the Vikings, which it's not necessarily a huge loss, but it's another setback for Penny's attempt to salvage something of his career. Here's the big one, though. Right tackle Brandon Shell is still sore and will not practice today, so he did not practice today, which I'm not surprised by. I don't know if him being sore is indicative of him likely being able to get back by Sunday, but I do feel like we need him. That's a pretty good pass rush in Minnesota. In theory, anyway. They've got Everson Griffin back. They've got Danielle Hunter, who we did not have to deal with last year. So, really hoping for Shell. Brian Monet also did not practice today, but Carroll did say he's feeling a lot better. So it seems like there's some optimism now about Monet getting to play against the Vikings, which that's a pretty big deal because they have a good rushing attack. Carroll also said that Jamarco Jones would likely start for Shell if Shell cannot play, although Jake Curhan is in the running as well. Neither of those possibilities fill me with a ton of confidence going into this Vikings game, so really hoping that Shell can go. A couple more injury notes as well. Dwayne Eskridge did not practice today from the concussion, which I don't know if it's a surprise or not. It's not the most encouraging thing in the world. I certainly would have felt better if he did practice today, but every indication is that he has a very good chance to get back for this Vikings game. Metcalf, there's a little bit of good news here at the very end. Metcalf did practice and seems to be fine. Some people pointed out that he came off the field hobbled at the end of the Titans game. It looks like that if he was indeed hobbled, it's not something that affects him at this point. So it seems like at the very least he's fine going forward. Now, I want to talk about two other things that Carroll said in the press conference today that caught my attention because injury updates are going to come every day and we can talk about them, but we're really not talking about Carroll in that regard. We're talking about the players who are injured and the what the doctors say. Carroll is just the vessel. So first we have Carroll talking about Kyle Fuller, our starting center. Pete Carroll says he thinks Kyle Fuller has played good, solid football and that his assignment mistakes are totally on us to command as coaching staff. So, Kyle Fuller is one of the more controversial Seahawks right now. Of the Seahawks who are starting for this team, he's a distant second to Trey Flowers in terms of who people are putting the blame on, but I do think he's probably in second place. So, Corbin Smith on SportsIllustrated.com, this is a Seahawks maven, I believe, actually wrote an article assessing Fuller's overall play through the first two starts. I recommend you guys go read it if you want the full picture, but I'm going to try to sum up what Corbin Smith found when he looked closely at Kyle Fuller's first two starts. So basically, he said that Posick showed impressive run blocking ability on Carson's 33-yard run against the Colts, which was probably his best play so far over the first two games. Basically said that in the Colts game, he only allowed two pressures and one QB hit, which is not great, but it's fine. And they said that he actually was a very good run blocker, even according to Pro Football Focus, which really doesn't like Kyle Fuller at all. And they actually gave him a very positive run blocking grade against the Titans. I'm sorry, against the Colts. Against the Titans, however, he pointed out that Fuller hasn't done a good job of getting push off the line of scrimmage on run plays, and was a big part of the reason why Carson only had 31 yards on 13 carries against the Titans. Basically said that it seems like his height, which is 6'5", which is pretty tall for a center, makes it hard for him to get leverage. So that affects his ability to run block and also pass protect, but mostly run blocking. Carroll believes that his errors with regard to being caught out of position or having mistimed snaps can be corrected with field time and help from the coaching staff. So basically what I'm going to say here about Kyle Fuller, this guy, Corbin Smith, has obviously seen a lot more tape on Kyle Fuller and analyzed way more than I have and probably anybody has. So basically his assessment on Fuller after 2 games is that it's a mixed bag, and we need a little bit more time before we make any judgments of whether or not he's actually going to be the guy or not. So that's a little more encouraging than I would have said, I guess. So maybe that's a defensible point, and maybe Fuller is being a little better than I was giving him credit for. So that doesn't necessarily make me mad. Now, Pete was probably a little too complimentary here when he talked about Fuller playing good, solid football and that he's shown good strength. He said some other complimentary things about Kyle Fuller. That was probably a little over the top, but that's defensible. But I'm going to talk about something here at the end of this video that really just annoyed me when I read it and actually did kind of upset me. So Pete Carroll said of Alton Robinson and his playing time, if anybody is clamoring for more playing time, me too. He needs to be out there more. So when I read that, what I hear is I want Alton Robinson to play more. I think Alton Robinson should get more snaps. I think Alton Robinson should be part of this defense. Is Pete Carroll not our head coach now all of a sudden? Is he an assistant coach? Is he like a water boy that doesn't have any say on who gets to play? This is his defense. Yes, I know Ken Norton does some play calling. I know Ken Norton has his fingerprints on this defense too, but nobody asked him about the Dunlap thing, which I kind of feel the same way about as I do Alton, but Alton Robinson is not a rookie who has come out of nowhere. Alton Robinson was good last year, and he was good in training camp, and he was good on the rare occasions he got to play in the first 2 games. What is going on here? This set me off a little bit, because if Pete Carroll wants Alton Robinson to get more playing time, then he should get more playing time. And it shouldn't be a thing where, oh, we'll get him more playing time next week. If Carroll wants Alton Robinson to play more, he should have already been playing more. So can somebody explain this to me? Because this made me mad. If Alton Robinson should be getting more playing time according to your head coach, then why can't the head coach say, hey, get that guy more playing time? He's better than Benson Mayowa. He's better than Rasheem Green. Green's played, honestly, pretty well so far, but what is this? This is the kind of stuff that is going to motivate me to say the things that I'm going to say in my video tomorrow morning. I'm not going to step on that video too much right now, but what is this? Can somebody... I'm done. I'm done. I don't feel like ranting right now, but this comment sounds... I don't even really know how to process it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. That's Carroll's presser today. Some interesting things, but this really annoys me. This comment gets on my nerves. See you guys later. Go Hawks.